Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Dr. Whisperer Show. My name is Sharon Feckerty, and I am really happy to introduce a new month, October. We made it through another month of COVID-19. And, there's some breaking news this morning that we'll leave for the media to discuss, like, the real media, like, ABC and NBC. We won't discuss that today, but there is a lot of news coming out, which I'm sure will infuse a lot of anger and anxiety and hopefully eventually some peace. I'm very happy that I have Kirk Kirkpatrick, the CEO of Riverside Recovery, joining me today. I met Kirk 3 years ago when it opened and did a wonderful tour. So I want to thank you for being here today, Kirk. It means a lot.
Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate it and happy to be here as well.
So I just watched Kirk on the Tampa Bay Business Journal's mental health event, which I'm always happy to see. There is more talking openly and candidly about mental health, especially in business. When we have a business journal that wants to have this conversation, we're moving the needle, right, Kirk?
Sure. Absolutely. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So I want people to get to know who you are. I don't think that, we get to have these kind of intimate discussions, and I'm so grateful that you are an open book, as I am, and are willing to share your own attachment to why you wanted to get this Riverside Recovery started.
Right. Well, again, I'm Kirk Kirkpatrick. I started in recovery about 7 years ago, and it's from my previous experience of not getting my needs met at other treatment centers. And I happened to meet the co-founder, Elizabeth Stockton, in recovery about 5 years ago. And when we, she was a year sober longer than me, so she's 8 years now. And, the idea, on one of our first dates together, if you will, we talked about what it would look like for the perfect treatment center. And we were very passionate about recovery. And, we felt that the perfect treatment center didn't treat people, most treatment centers have that institutional feel, and they don't treat with love and compassion. It's more, you're a piece of, what, and that's why you're in your disease, and sees behaviors, and you don't have much. There's nothing positive that comes out of that, I don't feel, and just makes you feel even worse about yourself, and you're not able to really get out of the rut, and so then you just want to probably use even more. And I think that the key thing for recovery, anyway, for me, and what I feel works best is you have to replace the drinking and using with something that you enjoy doing and you like doing, and you build up your life that way, and then you don't even really want to use or drink or use because you're so busy and happy and grateful with your new life that you've sort of discovered that you've always wanted to do.
Yeah. So I really appreciate your vulnerability and your courage, because it takes a lot of that, even for myself, as somebody who's 26 years sober, still active in my 12-step recovery. I couldn't wait to get to tour your place because I already knew that you had sobriety as part of your life, because I went to 2 rehabs myself. One when I was family intervention when I was 18. I was mandated by the courts at 19. I was mandated to a halfway house. And it wasn't until, I really just was ready myself, and everybody let me go and let me kind of black out, move to another state and fall to crap. And then, and then, I was ready. But I share this often, that the person who really helped me was that, because I suffer from depression, not currently, but along with getting sober, like many, comes a tremendous amount of mental health issues, because it's very related, right?
Absolutely.
So my depression led me to a therapist, which led me to a psychiatrist, which led me to him asking me if, I was having suicidal thoughts. And that was the end of that isolation for me, where I was really able to get the help that I needed, along with family, friends, and 12-step recovery work.
Right, right.
So how many of there's so many things I want to know, Kirk. I want to tell everybody what I personally loved about going to your facility in Tampa. First of all, it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
It is beautiful. Yes. It's aesthetically pleasing, and there are a lot of people in there that care. I was given a beautiful tour. The kitchen was so nice, the cafeteria, and there were healthy foods being served. And I remember just a lot of good energy and happiness flowing through the place. I loved that you had this big gym space, because I want to know from you now, like, what has happened, because you were kind of just opening then.
Yeah.
I think you were talking about yoga and
we're doing it.
Great. So tell us about what Riverside Recovery offers to the person coming in.
So Riverside Recovery of Tampa, we're 68 beds, and we're called what's called the full continuum of care. So we have every level of care under one roof. So out of the 68 beds, 53 are residential and 15 are detox. So, we come in detox, then to residential, then to partial hospitalization, to then intensive outpatient and all the outpatient programs. We have our ACA license.
Stop there for a second, because I want to make sure everybody understands the detox part.
Sure.
So the fact that you have detox there is a huge component, because not every rehab has that.
Correct. So we have a complete medical detox. Okay. So we're able to get people off of, whatever medication they're on, or a drug, drug of choice. And very comprehensive. Dr. Michael Soar is fantastic. He's still our medical director. He's got ER training, ASAM certified. So all the titles and organizations you want to be associated with, he's fantastic. And we run a great detox, and it's very it's great getting people to the solid ground where they can go and actually make changes in their life, because until you're stable, you can't really change a lot.
Right. So. I think a lot of people, Kirk, don't really understand the importance of the detox portion, because I've toured a lot of rehab facilities. One in particular that I went to, that they do it a natural way, which scared the living crap out of me, to be honest with you, because especially now with the power of the opioids, it's so severe that you really need a medical doctor supervising and being able to distribute what somebody needs to not actually die, right?
Absolutely. You have to do it the correct way. And alcohol and benzos are the two things that you can die from in detox. So, we are very thorough with our, medically assisted, treatment, MAT, for detox, like wean people off of certain drugs. Certain drugs have different methods of getting through it. So we've had 1,500, 2,000 clients have gone through the last 3 years. So we know what we're doing, and we can handle pretty much anything. I mean, very few cases have we not been able to help. Like somebody who had a heart surgery like a week before, we weren't able to help. But other than that, we can help everything.
And you said you had 68 beds?
68 beds total. 15 of them are detox and 53 are residential.
Great. So what is it like on day one? What happens when the person comes in for the first day? What does that look like?
So, we have a beautiful lobby that they come into, and, we have a very holistic feel, aromatherapy. We have calm music. We want people to calm down, and feel at peace. And then we go into the intake room where you have to do your verification of benefits. We have the nursing come up, check the blood pressure, do any vitals. And we have a 20-minute door-to-floor policy, which means we want the client, when they come in, that we want to get them medically detoxed as fast as possible, because most people are coming in, they're hurting bad, and they're really withdrawing, and they're not feeling great, and they want to leave and go back and use. So that's why we don't sit and wait around. We want to have it immediate so they can get and start feeling a little bit better.
Sure. And then they can
from my own experience. That was from my own experience, because I remember waiting, I think it was six hours one time and 12 hours the other time, just dying, and sitting in the waiting room, just, not able to go anywhere, and just feeling miserable, and felt like I was going to die.
Yeah, my second rehab, I was mandated to, and they didn't tell me until I got into rehab that I was also mandated to 3 months in a halfway house, which was a good idea because I probably would have ran for my life, right? I'd be like, I don't have that kind of time. I got to get back to this life that I don't actually have.
Right.
But in that moment, it felt so severe, and they didn't have a bed for me yet at the halfway house, so I was sent to a mental institution.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents, now here I was 19 years old, and my parents witnessing me being in a mental institution. There were people screaming all over the place. I'll never forget it. But I felt pretty comfortable. Felt
Right.
like those were my people,
Yeah, yeah,
but it really was. I mean, it's very difficult to get into treatment and to stay. So when there's a lag time,
mm-hmm.
that's
100%.
detrimental.
And that's where, the full continuum of care, where detox, we have the detox, and to go to residential, you just walk down the hall. So I know for myself, I was a chronic detox and leave, and I would feel better, and I'd be like, okay, I got it all figured out now, which would last 2-3 days. I'd go back to using and going right down the same hole that I was in before. So, having the continuum of care where you walk down the hall from detox to residential is huge. And so we commit about 80% of the clients that come into detox transfer to residential. Mm-hmm. So that's a fantastic statistic. Some of the people who don't transfer, they may have just relapsed and, only needed to sort of get physically back. Mm-hmm. So there are some exceptions, but what the scary statistic, and I've shared this a little bit, out of the 1,500 to 2,000 people we've had through detox, and if it's their first time in treatment, the ones that have only done detox and left, not one person has ever been sober from that. Yeah. So you have to go to residential, you have to get longer care. So it doesn't work just getting the drugs and stuff out of your body. Doesn't make you all of a sudden sober. Right. You really have to do the work.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a lot of work to be done.
A lot of work to be done.
There's a lot of work to be done. So let me understand what it's like then so now they're in treatment, and I know, well, for me, it was a very structured day. Mm-hmm. Usually woke up with a little kumbaya-ing, a little yoga, a little, I remember making
mindful meditation. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you have a structured day for everybody. Yep. They have to follow a structured
day. And detox, we have breakfast. In detox, the first couple of days, they let them sleep. Most of the time, people sleep a long time. So, they don't have that much structure when they get there. They really are sleeping most of the time. But, seeing the doctor, seeing the nurses are, checking on them every 15 minutes pretty much. We have what's called Q15s, where they go around and just make sure that, the client's doing okay, breathing okay. We have TVs in each room so that they are able to, communicate or not communicate, but, if they want to sit and watch TV, they want to just veg out, that's fine. If they want to sleep, that's fine as well. And then after they're there 2 or 3 days, we do offer some mindful meditation, sort of yoga in the detox. And we have a little clinical programming, and we have a lot of peer support specialists in there that are in recovery, and they, share their story and try to, get people to understand the seriousness of this. And, they just hopefully, are able to at least get the foundation of what recovery looks like, and get the drugs out of their system so they can start making some real changes.
Sure. And so then when they're in the rehab portion of it though, is there group sessions? And
yeah, we have a couple groups a day. We have a few groups a day, whether it's clinical, we have H&I meetings, so people do come in from the outside. We have a recovery support specialist that have meetings with them. So they have a very, very busy day.
Did you say recovery sports specialist?
Recovery support specialist.
Support. I was like, oh, this sounds exciting.
Yeah, recovery support specialist. So it's, it's people that are, higher than a behavioral health tech. They're usually people that are in recovery, and they're able to just, understand what the person's going through, what their needs are, and just trying to help them and calm them down, because usually people are at a high level of agitation at that time, and just get them to, slow it down a little bit.
Right. So how long, I remember being in rehab, both times it was like 25 to 30 days. Is it about the same?
Yeah, it just depends on the individual. That's, people always call in and say, you know, how long is it? It depends. If you're talking to a, you know, an 18-year-old that, you know, has only been experimenting for the past couple of months, you know, it's not going to, you know, they don't need that much in detox, but you do need a lot of time in residential to make a change. So it's anywhere from 20 days to, you know, 9 months. We've had 9 months. I know for me personally, it took me a year before I really got it. And, you know, it was myself, you know, not only, you know, the first 3 months, the first 90 days are so important, but, you know, it's continual and getting used to going to meetings and stuff. I liken to what we do is like being a personal trainer. It's like we show the people how to do recovery and how to do things and how to eat correctly and sort of get them, all right, you need to start doing a schedule, but eventually they need to start going to the gym by themselves, which is AA meetings or seeing a therapist, you know, going to SMART meetings, going to Celebrate Recovery, you know, doing things for themselves. And we're not always going to be there to be watching over them, making sure that they're not, you know, doing what they shouldn't be doing. So, you know, we do have a huge alumni program. So, you know, which is free, and our aftercare program's free. Our family program is fantastic. So we really just try to keep the client involved.
Tell me about the family program. You know,
Yeah.
I had the parents on here the other day because one of the questions I get asked the most is, how are your parents doing and what was it like for them? And they've been very open themselves, but with sharing about how difficult it was. They attended Family Anonymous. They came to all of the, you know, recovery days. I don't really remember what they were called at my rehabs, but them being a part of the recovery, being shown Al-Anon or whatever support system, Celebrate Recovery, you mentioned. We have so many great resources around Tampa, especially. You were on with Clara from the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay. We have NAMI. I mean, we have so much support, and they've all been on the show. So I've been very honored to talk to everybody about this because I don't think there's enough resources we could offer. But tell us a little bit about what it's like for the families.
Yeah, so the families, when the individual comes in, you know, the families are usually sick too. I mean, they've either been enabling the client, or they don't know what to do and they don't know how to help. And, you know, they're tired of yelling at them, or, you know, maybe giving them the cold shoulder or whatever part they're playing. They don't know exactly how to handle that. And, you know, whether it's a wife or husband, you know, wanting to get back with their loved one, or parents, you know, or brothers, sisters, friends, you know, whatever you consider family. You know, we contact the family within the first 24 hours. Louise Wallowitz is our director of family programming. Her and Chris Chiapetta is our other family therapist, and we have family weekend once a month, and we also have family on Wednesday night and Sunday at noon. So there's plenty of time to get involved with the family. We have a great family program that a lot of families that have, you know, their loved one was in treatment a year, 2 years ago, and they're still participating in the programming. So it's families helping families, just sort of like AA, you know, helps the newcomer. The families help the newcomer families. And
that's great. So tell me about what it's been like through COVID-19. Has there been an increase in people coming into the rehab, or I'm quite sure it's been difficult having to, you know, put the social distancing in, everybody wearing a mask. Everybody has suffered through this pandemic. What has it been like at Riverside Recovery?
We've been, you know, the direct care staff have been full tilt since February, into February, right when the COVID came out. We had to, you know, change a lot of the procedures to do the hand sanitizing and the mask, and went to telehealth really fast. So telehealth was actually something that we'd always wanted to do. It forced us to do it immediately, so that was a good thing. And we had to move rapidly to make sure that we had a safe environment and we were protecting our employees. So the employees, only the direct care staff, you know, came to Riverside. The people who, you know, whether they were billing or marketing, even admissions, they work remotely. And, we had that just until a few weeks ago, really. And, we've always had a very clean facility, but, we had to step it up a notch. We got everybody tested. We still test. I've been tested 3 or 4 times. Do not have it. Never had it, but, we check in every day. We check the temperature every day of every employee, and then the clients get checked 4 or 5 times a day. And they get tested before they come in, and have to make sure that they're free from COVID.
Sure.
In their program.
Yeah, it's been so stressful. I mean, it's already stressful enough when you're addicted or an alcoholic, and then pour on a pandemic. So, Kirk, just to share with you, one of the reasons I started the show back in March, I mean, I already had a podcast show, but I wasn't doing it as often as I am now, was because I have this group of healers in my community with physicians. So we've had everybody from, neurologists to internal med to just really everybody. And talking about how much anxiety and how much depression and what we can do to kind of help navigate, for everybody that we can reach through this type of platform.
Sure.
So I'd like to know personally what life is like for you today. How are you?
For life, well, like I was saying earlier, we've been full go since the end of February. A lot of people are dying. We had Elizabeth's ex-husband passed away in April from this disease. And I want to say a lot of this was due to COVID. And, they had an 11-year-old daughter together. So, that responsibility comes full time on us. And it's tragic because we got along very well with them. But it was a tragic incident. He drowned. And, it's something that, this is tough. This is tough to deal with. And life is hard. Life is hard no matter what you do for a living or, where you are in your recovery. You have to get after it every day. And not every day is great. We have disagreements, we have arguments, but hopefully at the end of the day, you don't drink about it no matter what. And you try to go and help somebody else and have some gratitude.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a tough 6 months, 7 months for sure.
It has. It really has. And you have 3 beautiful daughters.
Yeah, well, 4 now with
4.
Graysen, who's so I have a 22-year-old that's graduating from NYU this semester. Yay. I have a 20-year-old at University of Florida. I have the 11-year-old that's in 6th grade, and then I have an 18-month-old that with Elizabeth that's just a handful, Shelby, and she's something else. And that's where I have my family, my mother and sister, watch her every day, which is very grateful for that, be able to have them, raising her, while we're spending, 10 to 12 hours a day here at Riverside.
So you are still very busy at the rehab.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm here pretty much every day. I knew that the first 5 years, we've got to, at least I need to be here a long time. We have a lot of other people that are helping out, and, we have great leadership, great employees. But I'm very actively involved still.
Good. And Kirk, what are you doing for your own mental health today?
Yeah, I go to noon Yana, which is You Are Not Alone. So, AA is a big, program that I really like. I always, I don't break the AA tradition, but I say I'm in recovery whenever I'm on shows like this. But, I do like recovery meetings, especially, and just the recovery lifestyle. That's where I feel recovery is going, sort of almost how yoga was 10 years ago. Yoga has become a lifestyle. I think recovery has become a lifestyle. And I think that or at least my generation, there was still a stigma attached. And it's not something you want to talk about at the country club or
right.
Where I think the younger folks, the millennials, they are proud of their recovery, and they're proud. They don't have a stigma against mental illness. And I think that's really healthy.
Oh, it's so great, right? I mean, the fact that we're able to talk about it. I was having a conversation yesterday with a friend of mine, and she said, well, you had kept that secret for so long, Sharon. I'm like, well, I didn't actually keep it a secret.
Yeah.
But when you own businesses and when you run businesses, you're not shouting out, "Hey, guess what?
Yeah. I'm a former crack addict."
Right, right.
Yeah.
It's just not popular.
Right. Right.
But now when you understand that your story can
Mhm.
help one person,
One person. That's it.
person,
You can help one person. It's all worth it.
you're just obligated, right? I mean, I know that you must feel the same way. Once I know somebody's in recovery, you're like, my people, you know, we have been given a life. Yes, we've been given a life that we could have never imagined because we stopped using, and every day becomes a day of gratitude. Even in the toughest of times, I've said many times that, you know, I was built for a pandemic because I've been working on myself for 26 years now.
Yeah.
And we're lucky enough to have an open community that we can do, like with Zoom meetings now for 12-step. And I had NAMI on recently, and they've, you know, it's opened up all these really great opportunities where if you couldn't go in person, you could go to NAMI in Hillsborough or NAMI in Pasco on different days. And the same with our 12-step recovery groups to be so available. You know, we've really shifted into finally living in the year that we're supposed to, which is 2020.
Absolutely.
The technology.
Yeah. It's that's been the one positive is the telehealth is helping, and it's going to be here from now on. And it, you know, we moved a lot faster to get there, but I think that's a good thing. I think that's the one positive. And I think if you looked at the numbers, how many people have died, I know that the military came out and said that suicides are up 20%, which was already at what, 22 people a day.
Yep.
So,
Every 4 seconds, somebody takes their life.
Yeah, it's really hard. So
right,
you know,
take a breath, right, Kirk? It just makes you take a breath.
Yeah, and I think that this pandemic has not helped anyone with that. But you know, the one positive where I was going was the telehealth. I think is helping people, and hopefully people, you know, won't have a stigma, or lessening the stigma of addiction and substance abuse and mental health in general.
Yeah, agreed. You know, I've been trying to push the agenda of if you're not in therapy, I actually think there's something wrong with you.
Right, yeah.
Right, that. Preventative health and preventative mental health. Like, why wait until a crisis happens to start working on the most important thing, which is our mind. Yeah. So Kirk, thank you so much. I've taken up enough of your time today. I appreciate you being here today.
Yeah.
And I look forward to visiting when this all passes.
Absolutely. I look forward to it. And again, you can reach me, Kirk Kirkpatrick, Riverside Recovery. My email is kk@rrtampa.com. Our website is rrtampa.com as well. And our 24/7 admissions line is 813-575-4141.
Beautiful. And all of the information of how to reach you and how to reach Riverside Recovery of Tampa is all in the show notes. And we are very excited to have this right here in our backyard. Thank you so much, Kirk.
And you're the best. I appreciate it.
You're
Have a great day.
So don't forget, if you mention that you have seen the show or listened to the podcast, Thai Technology, 3 months for free.